Have you ever noticed that a few seconds of pain can literally feel like forever? Just think about it for a second. A sudden fall, a car unexpectedly swerving right into your lane, or just a sharp moment of sheer unadulterated panic. In those exact split-second moments, your entire perception of the world completely shifts. Well, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to unpack one of the most fascinating, universal experiences we all share as humans. We're looking at why exactly time feels so much slower in painful moments. We're going to reveal your brain's hidden superpower, which is basically this biological survival switch that flips during terrifying situations to warp your reality and ultimately keep you alive. You know the exact feeling, right? That totally subjective, visceral sensation where absolutely everything just slows down. It's almost cinematic. A coffee cup falling off the edge of a table seems to take a whole minute to hit the floor. A single tiny second stretches and stretches until it feels like an absolute eternity. So let's dig into the illusion of slow time. In our normal, everyday reality, a second is simply a second. Time doesn't actually change. The clock on your wall ticks away at the exact same rhythm it always does. But during a crisis, oh man, time just stretches out endlessly. Your personal experience of time isn't some fixed constant. It is completely controlled and really totally constructed by your brain. Which brings us to survival mode being fully activated. When you experience imminent danger, your brain essentially smashes the panic button and biology just takes the wheel. It unleashes this massive flood of stress hormones, mostly adrenaline, and your system goes into absolute overdrive. Almost instantly, your senses sharpen up, your focus intensely increases, every single visual, auditory, and physical detail is captured. Your brain is desperately, rapidly trying to record absolutely everything in your environment just to figure out how to keep you alive. Next up, processing more frames per second. To really wrap our heads around this, we need to stop thinking of the brain as a ticking clock. Actually, scratch that. It's way better to think of it as a high-speed video camera. Because simply put, more information equals slower time. Since your brain is in this hyper-vigilant survival state, the sheer density of data it's absorbing absolutely skyrockets. When your brain is forced to process a massive overload of information in a tiny, tiny fraction of a second, that moment naturally feels significantly longer to your conscious mind. Think about it like this. On a normal day, your brain is incredibly efficient. It filters out minor details so you aren't completely overwhelmed by everyday life. You completely tune out the hum of the fridge or the leaves blowing outside. But your survival brain? No way. It records absolutely everything. Every sudden movement, every tiny little sound, every sudden shift in physical sensation. It is a complete overload of high-definition detail. And here is the massive twist, the slow-motion replay. Time itself isn't slowing down at all. Instead, your brain is actually speeding up. It's processing so many more frames per second that it's essentially like switching your internal camera from standard definition straight into an ultra-slow motion replay. You are simply absorbing far more reality per second than you usually do. Let's look at the memory expansion trick. The crazy part is, this illusion hangs around long after the danger has passed. When your brain takes all that high-def survival mode data and files it away in your memory banks, those painful and terrifying moments are stored incredibly vividly. Your brain basically slaps a massive, glowing neon warning label on these files, telling you, hey, don't forget this, it might save your life later. It's purposely marking the event as hyper-important for your future survival. And because of that super intense, data-heavy encoding process, when you eventually recall the event, the whole thing feels completely distorted. Remembering the event literally feels much longer than the actual reality of it. The sheer volume of vivid data packed into your memory makes the timeline stretch out artificially whenever you look back on it. So what is your hidden survival advantage in all this? Well, this strange neurological trick is actually a totally brilliant evolutionary adaptation. Because time feels slower, you get the mental space you absolutely need to react faster. And because you're able to make those split-second decisions with this perceived extra time, you can effectively dodge danger. Your brain is essentially hacking its own perception of time just to give you the mental workspace you desperately need to stay alert and survive. Ultimately, time is completely in your mind. So the next time a painful, scary moment feels utterly endless, I want you to remember this. Time isn't changing. You are. Your brain is working at absolute full capacity, stretching the very fabric of your perceived reality for one reason, just to protect you. It really is a remarkable built-in superpower. So I want to turn this over to you. Have you ever experienced a moment where time felt incredibly slow? A sudden fall, a sports injury, or a near miss? Just think about what your incredible brain was doing in that exact fraction of a second. If this explainer changed the way you think about time and your own mind, hit that like button right now. Seriously, comment your own slow motion survival story down below. I would love to read them. Share this with a friend who loves psychology, and absolutely make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into the fascinating hidden powers of the human mind. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.